Once, in a small village nestled at the edge of a dark and forbidden forest, there lived a young boy named Ethan. His sister, Lily, was everything to him. She was his best friend, his partner in mischief, and the one who always made him smile, even on the toughest days. But lately, Lily had become terribly ill. The doctors, after trying every possible cure, had given up hope. Her once bright eyes had dulled, her laughter had faded, and her tiny body was growing weaker by the day. Ethan couldn't stand to see her like this. His heart ached with a pain so deep it felt like it would tear him apart. In his desperation, he heard stories of a magical cure hidden deep within the forbidden forest, a place that no one dared to enter. People whispered of its dangers, of trees that whispered ancient secrets, of shadows that moved on their own, and of curses that had trapped many souls forever. But love for his sister blinded Ethan to the dangers. He couldn't lose her. So, one night, under the light of a full moon, he made up his mind. He would go into the forest, no matter the cost. With a trembling heart, Ethan stepped into the forest, the air growing cold and heavy with every step he took. As soon as he entered, the trees seemed to come alive, their gnarled branches creaking as if they were warning him to turn back. Soft whispers filled the air, like voices from the past, murmuring in a language only the forest could understand. "Turn back, boy. This path will trap you," the voices whispered, their words laced with an eerie sense of danger. Ethan paused, his heart racing, but the thought of Lily's pale face, her shallow breathing, pushed him forward. He couldn't stop now. He had to find the cure. The deeper he ventured, the more the forest seemed to grow darker, as if it was alive, watching him, testing him. The whispers grew louder, urging him to turn back, to leave before it was too late. "The forest will consume you," they warned, but Ethan refused to listen. Every step he took, the more the trees seemed to bend around him, as if trying to trap him in their branches. But he kept moving forward, desperate to save Lily. His heart beat faster with each passing minute, fear and determination battling within him. His thoughts were consumed by the image of Lily's frail body, and with every whisper of the forest, he only grew more certain that he was doing the right thing. He couldn't fail her. He wouldn't. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of walking through the twisted, dark woods, Ethan reached a clearing. In the center of the clearing, bathed in soft, glowing light, stood a single flower, a radiant, golden bloom, said to hold the cure for any sickness. It was beautiful, its petals glowing softly in the moonlight, and for a moment, Ethan thought his heart might burst with relief. He had found it. He had found the cure. But as his fingers reached out to pluck the flower, the ground trembled beneath him, and a deep, booming voice echoed through the forest. "If you take it, the world will suffer," the voice warned, filled with ancient sorrow. Ethan froze, his hand trembling above the flower. The voice was filled with such sorrow, such warning, but all he could think of was Lily. He couldn't lose her. Tears filled his eyes as he hesitated. But the thought of Lily's pain, the way she had been slowly slipping away from him, made him reach forward with shaking hands. He plucked the flower from the ground. The moment his fingers touched it, the forest seemed to scream in agony, its branches twisting and cracking as if in pain. A dark shadow rose from the ground, a terrifying, ancient evil long kept hidden by the forest's protection. Ethan's heart pounded in his chest as he realized the truth. The forest hadn't been trying to trap him. It had been protecting the world from this evil, this darkness that now began to rise, hungry for destruction. The shadow towered above him, swirling with malice and rage. The whispers, once so gentle, now turned into frantic cries. "You have made your choice." Ethan's eyes widened in horror as the forest around him twisted, the trees crying out in anguish. He looked back toward the village, towards his sister, and for the first time, he felt the weight of his actions. He had saved Lily, for now, but at what cost? The world around him was changing, darkening, as if the balance had been broken. The forest was no longer a sanctuary, but a place of terror. The evil he had unleashed was spreading, its dark tendrils creeping toward the village. Ethan ran, his heart breaking with every step. He had to get back to Lily, but the forest seemed to fight him now, its once welcoming whispers turning into cold, threatening voices. He fought his way through the trees, desperation flooding his every thought. When he finally reached the village, the air was thick with the scent of smoke, and the once peaceful sky had turned an ominous shade of red. Ethan collapsed at his sister's side, her breathing weak and shallow. She was still alive, but the world was no longer the same. Tears streamed down his face as he whispered to her, "I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know." He had saved her, but at the cost of everything else. His love for her had led him to make a choice that could never be undone. The forest's whispers echoed in his mind, a constant reminder that some choices, no matter how well-intentioned, come with a price too high to pay. Ethan held his sister's hand, feeling the weight of his choice press down on him. The forest, the cure, the evil, it all seemed so far away now, and yet it was all around him. The love he felt for Lily would never fade, but the burden of what he had done would haunt him forever. The whispers of the forest, once so soft and kind, now felt like the final warning of a world slipping into darkness, a world that would never be the same again.